she's beautiful species got everything that Uncle John need, oh baby. Yes, baby. Woo, baby.
Remember when I said I wasn't going to be doing any more of these in a hurry? I guess I lied. Yeah, I'm not going to go back into the full swing of regular video hoo-ha. Just wanted to do a quick little update because I'm in my new uni house place for the final year. And term starts next week, so just want to, try and take some time while I've got some time to do something just on camera and say things, because it's the need to has been starting to sort of build up, and I feel like it's time to, yes. So if you saw that little thing that I did at like 1 in the morning the other day, you will have had a little bit of a teaser of what I'm about to show you. Yeah, I got the night beats. Yeah, I don't really think I've got that much to say about this guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure that everyone's reason for buying this is not that it's a particularly good figure, just because it's Nightbeat, it's the only version of G1 Nightbeat that's pretty decent that you can buy. And yeah, he's not perfect, being a repaint of Bumblebee isn't really quite right. But then I don't think being a repaint of Jazz would have been either. But yeah, if you don't know, on the cover of the comic this guy comes with, the art makes it look like he's a repaint of Jazz, and that was what was going to happen at one point. Then obviously some weird late change happened, and they thought, well, this robot mode is probably better, or they thought we shouldn't use one of the old generation's molds in this new line, so it's just going to show up everything new. I don't know what the reason behind that was, but Nightbeat looks kind of more like Nightbeat like this. I don't know. I think I would have preferred the alt mode for the Jazz mold, because it looks more like a Porsche, it's more rounded. This is really angular as a car, really boxy, does not look enough like the car from Wayne's World for me, but I don't know, it's, you get what you get, don't you? That's Nightbeat's alt mode. It's a toy of Nightbeat, so you just have to sort of suck it up, I guess, if you want a Nightbeat toy. His bot mode is okay. Having handled all 3 versions of this mold now, because I have got Goldfire and I have handled Bumblebee, I have to say Goldfire is probably the best. Yeah, he feels just more solid. The plastic on this guy is not as dense as on Goldfire. Maybe it's because that was all gold and metallic and they didn't want it going all GPS or something. I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't feel quite as solid. The joints are good. The joints are okay, nice and tight. I mean, you can see he's got these things in his arms, and if I did this with Goldfire, they just fall straight out. So there are better tolerances going on here. But he just doesn't feel as solid as a car. The plastic is just a little bit down, not quite as nice, and he rattles a bit more. And one of the first things I did when I took him out of the box was tear one of his legs apart at the knee, but all in all he seems to be okay. There is a bit of the trouble that I've seen with at least the Bumblebee that I've handled, where you can't get the back end of the car all clipped together. There is kind of that with this. I never had that with Goldfire, it all worked perfectly fine. With this there is more. You've got to push and click, and things are sort of moving in directions you probably don't think they should, and it does work, but it doesn't really feel as, I don't know, there's something weird, different going on here that means it doesn't feel quite as easy as Goldfire as well. The paint on him it's okay, I would have liked more yellow on his chest here. Actually would have liked a completely new chest. I mean, if you know the Glaug, that artisan of 3D printed shapeways stuff, he has made a new chest, and I may have one of those off him once he's tested them, or I might test one for him, because it was me who reminded him to finish the thing. Yeah, I just wish they could have done a new chest, There's all these heavy retools we're getting, like Sandstorm from Springer, or even G-Axis from this Starscream. Why couldn't they have done more than just give Nightbeat a new head? Why couldn't he have had a new chest as well? I don't get that. But yeah, apart from that bit of yellow running down the middle of his chest, there's not really a lot anywhere else. What you do get is really quite thinly applied, at least on mine. So it's like the blue underneath is sort of coming through, and it's kind of green. You can just tell there's not enough on there. And because of the kneecaps here make the back of the car, but one side is painted better than the other side. When you put them together as a car, it looks kind of weird because it's just could have been done that tiny bit better. But at the same time saying that, he has got paint apps that are kind of like you wouldn't expect them to be there. If I can catch it in the light right, you see on his shins, he's actually got the rear windscreen painted in metallic blue. and I can't remember the last time I had a car form where they actually bothered to pick out the real windscreen, and especially when he's metallic blue anyway, it's really quite hard to notice that first off. It's like, oh, okay, that is paint there. What? He's not bad, really. I like him just because I wanted to figure a Nightbeat really bad, and his head sculpt's pretty much perfect, apart from denied piping. He's got a big red block at the back of his head that's the same colour as his eyes, which leads me to believe that there should have been light piping here, and they've just painted over it, and it makes me sad because he's got a visor and it probably would have been really good. Why did no versions of this mould have light piping when there's all this clear plastic going on? But yeah, he's pretty okay to mess with, you know. I mean, this mould is a bit limited, but I have to say, only the other day I realised it has a waist swivel. I don't know why I didn't notice Goldfire had that, but I was just sort of mucking about with Nightbeat and looked at his back and thought, wait a minute, what? There's a swivel in there. He does turn at the waist. Okay, and it just kind of feels like the more you mess with this mould, the better you can become acquainted with it, and actually you can have some fun with it, put in good poses, whatever you like. It's not that bad, so certainly if you don't have a version of this thing, then have it in Nightbeat flavour, because that's the tastiest flavour. Apart from him, of course, in that video that was only 23 seconds long, quite an apt length of time, wouldn't you say, I showed off my first figure art. It's the Masked Rider that's yellow. I don't know anything about Kamen Rider. I don't care anything about Kamen Rider. I know those people are going to be shouting at me now, go watch Black RX! No, put Masked Rider in the bin! No, Masked Rider is an abomination! No! I don't care. What I liked when I was 4 was Masked Rider. I preferred it to Power Rangers, and the only proper figure of a Masked Rider I had was the yellow guy here, and he had a lever on his back and he swung his gun up and down. So to have a properly high-end, really well done new version of that thing is so good. It's like real proper nostalgia, because this is going back a long way, even before Beast Wars and everything for me. So yeah, I like this. It's so well done, but it's like, it's so poseable. Once I put him in this pose, I don't want to move him from this, I don't want to move him on the shelf. But yeah, oh man, this is nice. Don't think I want to go down that rabbit hole, but I've got one figure art at least, and I enjoyed it very much. I do have to say though that without John having a Ami, it might have been Ami, might have been HLJ, probably Ami, one of those Japanese shopping website accounts, I wouldn't have got this guy, because he buys way too much of that stuff, and he just chucked one in for me, and I owe him some money and stuff like that. But he also let me have another Bugman related thing, because he got one of those cases for the little tiny dudes, and I've got the Spaceman one, and he's kind of nice. He's like really small but really properly poseable, and he comes with 4 other hands, and it's insane to think that these are basically Japanese equivalent of those things that you put 20p in the machine and turn the knob and the thing falls out. What? Japan, why do you get all the good stuff, man? But yeah, I don't really know anything about him. Is it Forze or Forze? He pronounces his name, I don't know. He's a space one, he's kind of cool. He puts rockets on his arms and has PlayStation controls on his limbs for some reason. But there you go, that's all mini plastic for now. I was kind of hoping I might have more by now, but that's because I haven't had my student money yet, and it's kind of like sort of sitting here really clenching up because it's been a few days now and there's loads of uni admin knobbery going on, and it's taken them ages for me to actually be able to register, and so then I can't send that confirmation of my attendance to student finance to collect my money, blah 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 blah. Long story short, I wanted to be able to afford new toys by now and I can't, and it's like, but looking at a lockdown and stuff like that. But that's pretty much all I had to say for today and for now. This is only an episode of Twit because, you know, I felt like showing off new stuff and I had the time to do one and just felt like doing an update and couldn't think of what else to call it. But one final thing to say, if you may have subscribed to my pretty much empty robot house channel that I started up like last year, because when I was back in uni before, me and John were going to do some joint videos and we never did anything, and it's just sat empty. Now we've decided we are going to do stuff, so if you are subscribed to that, then keep an eye on it, maybe. Probably. we'll put something up there at some point. Basically thinking of doing like a little round table thing, just me and him sat talking, and it can be a joint thing, we can do other stuff, and interesting things abound, and could be fun, yeah, should be fun, providing we get the time to actually do such a thing. Time to fall into the abyss of despair over my lack of mental competence when it comes to electronics. Oh, isn't it gonna be good? Catch you on the flip side.